I, 27M, just graduated college a few months ago and was supposed to be getting married next month to my fiancée, Angie, 26F. We've been engaged for about a year, and she's the daughter of one of my parents' longtime friends. Everything looked great on paper: stable careers, good families, a seemingly solid relationship. But a week ago, everything changed. We were hosting a small engagement dinner with close friends and family, and my cousin, who had a bit too much to drink, started rambling about how they did you a favor and she wasn't good enough for you anyway. I asked him what the hell he was talking about. He got nervous and tried to change the subject, but I pressed harder. Then he dropped the bomb. He told me that years ago, back when I was with her, the girl I truly loved, my family, paid off her parents to leave town. She was the love of my life. We were young, yes, but serious. We made promises, talked about a future together. Then one day she and her whole family just vanished without a word. I thought maybe they got into trouble, or maybe I did something wrong. I grieved hard, and eventually I moved on. Or tried to. I was shaking with rage. I cornered my cousin after the party and demanded the truth. He tried to backpedal, but it was too late. I stormed into my parents' house that same night. My mother and father both looked pale when I confronted them. My dad tried to justify it, said her family was poor, probably just after our money, and they were protecting me from a future mistake. He said her disappearance was proof they were never sincere. I didn't even respond. I just stared at them, cold, furious, betrayed. Then came Angie. She tried to calm me down. That's when I asked her if she knew. She hesitated. That hesitation was everything. She finally admitted she had known for years, that she didn't tell me because she didn't want to lose me, and because what's done is done. I took the engagement ring off right there and placed it on the table. You knowing about it and lying to me all this time, that's all the proof I need that you never truly loved me, I said. Then I walked out. My best friend, who had no idea about any of this, followed me out. A few of my other friends followed too, shocked and clearly unaware of the scheme. Before I left the house, I turned back and told every single one of them, my family, her, everyone, that they would pay dearly for the betrayal. I wasn't yelling. I didn't need to. The silence in the room said everything. It's been a week since. I'm staying with my best friend right now. I only brought essentials and some clothes. I can't sleep. I keep hearing her voice, the one who vanished, remembering how she promised she'd never leave me, how we were going to build something together. And I let her down. I didn't even try to find her. I believed the worst, and I let her go. Now my phone's been blowing up texts, calls, emails from family, Angie, even some of their friends trying to explain. But it's too late. They destroyed something pure for the sake of pride, money, and control. And no amount of justifying will make that okay. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know if I'll ever find her again. But I know one thing, I'm never going back to them. And they lost me the moment they decided my happiness was negotiable. Update 1. I found out more and I snapped. It's been a few days since I walked out of my own engagement party and left my life behind. The lies, the betrayal, it's all been eating at me. I couldn't let it sit. So I decided to go back to the apartment. Not for them, for my things. Closure. Whatever was left of it. I didn't go alone. One of my close friends who's been by my side since all this came out came with me. I didn't trust myself not to explode. Turned out I was right. When we got to the apartment, Angie was there, and so was her father. The moment he saw me, he puffed himself up like he was the one who'd been wronged. Started yelling at me, calling me disrespectful. I kept my cool at first. I calmly asked him, "Did you know what they did to her?" He didn't even hesitate. Said yes, said he was part of it. Then he said something I won't forget. "You need to be a man and grow up. We did you a favor. She was a nobody." That was it. Something inside me snapped. I stepped forward and punched him hard in the chest, knocking him back. He stumbled into the wall, gasping. And just before I could finish what I started, I turned and slammed my fist into the wall next to his face. A chunk of drywall cracked open. I leaned in close, looked him dead in the eyes and said, If you say one more stupid thing to me, your face becomes that hole. Angie was crying, begging me to stop, but I didn't even look at her. My friend stood behind me, arms crossed, disgust written all over his face. He helped me pack my things, what little I had left in that place. Angie's father didn't move a muscle, not one. On the way out, I looked back at him and said, "Go ahead, call the cops. I'd love to tell them the story of how you and your circle kidnapped my future." Before I walked out the door, I said one last thing. If I find out anything happened to her, if any harm came to her because of you people, there won't be a place on earth far enough for you to hide. We left. That night, I sat with my friends and told them everything, even the parts I was ashamed of. The years I just accepted she left, that I didn't try harder, that I let myself be manipulated. But that's over now. I am going to try. Again. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to find her. Update 2. If they want war, they've got one. I tried to stay quiet. I tried to move on. I tried to find peace. But my family and the people they call friends weren't done with me. They realized they made a mistake, a massive one. And instead of apologizing or facing the truth, they did what cowards do best. They tried to twist the narrative. They started slandering me. Suddenly I was unstable, manipulated by a gold digger, angry at the world, and blinded by emotions. Even my cousin, the same one who drunkenly let the truth slip, joined in, parroting my parents' version of the story to everyone who would listen. I was furious, so I paid him a visit. No more warnings, no more holding back. I found him at his apartment. He opened the door, smug like nothing ever happened. That smugness didn't last. I beat him. No dramatic speeches, no drawn-out confrontation. Just fists and fury, the rage of years of betrayal condensed into a single punishing release. His girlfriend was there. She was horrified, frozen in place. When I stopped, breathing heavy, I looked her in the eye and asked her plainly, "Did you know what he and my family did to her?" She shook her head, swore she didn't. So I forced my cousin to talk. With a broken lip and blood dripping from his nose, he spilled more than I expected. They didn't just pay her family off. They threatened them, harassed them, cornered them until they had no choice but to run. They mocked them, laughed, celebrated their victory like it was some game. And then he made a mistake. He told me he kept a video of it all as a trophy. I demanded to see it. He handed over his phone and there it was. Them, him, my parents, Angie's father. All of them threatening her family, calling them parasites, laughing as they forced them out of town. The girlfriend saw it. Her fear of me turned to disgust for him. The moment the video ended, she looked at him like he was something she had to scrape off her shoe. Just like that, they were done. Later that night, my cousin got a call from my parents. I answered on his phone. They asked, "Did you get rid of anything about her? Her family?" I answered calmly, "I know the truth. You all are finished," and hung up. My cousin begged for forgiveness, on his knees sobbing. I said nothing. Instead, I played the video of him mocking her, mocking the girl I loved, the one I should have protected. She was crying in the clip, humiliated, afraid. He saw his past self on screen and broke down harder. I left him beaten, but alive. That was enough, for now. I've already backed up the video, several times, sent it to a few trusted friends. I'm not done with it yet, but I will be using it. My family values appearances more than anything. Their precious reputation, their false mask of decency. I'm gonna rip it apart piece by piece, while I keep searching for her. Update 3, I released the video and their world came crashing down. I did it. I released the video. But I made sure to protect the only people who didn't deserve the fallout. I blurred her face and her parents out of every frame. They've already suffered enough. This wasn't about them. This was about the people who chose to destroy her life and mine. I didn't just upload the video, I sent it directly to the people who mattered in their lives. The ones whose opinions they valued. The ones whose respect they depended on. and one by one their world began to collapse. My father, always flaunting his connections at the golf club, was quietly pushed out. Nobody said it to his face, but the message was clear. You're not welcome here anymore. My mother, who practically lived at church events and community fundraisers, suddenly found herself ignored. Her invites dried up. Her smile didn't get returned anymore. My sister, a university student and a small-time influencer, was dropped by every brand she worked with. Her face, once on sponsored posts and lifestyle collabs, became a symbol of betrayal. The university didn't expel her, but she's been walking through a storm of shame and isolation. And my brother, who had just started working at a well-known tech firm, was kicked out of the building. No quiet email? No, let's talk in private. Security escorted him out. Apparently that company has zero tolerance for people like him, people who laugh and celebrate cruelty, who stand by while an innocent family is threatened and driven out of town. Even my uncle's classic car business took a hit, clients canceled projects, and his waiting list vanished overnight. No one wants to leave their prized vehicles in the hands of a man caught laughing in a video like that. Angie was asked to take a leave from the hospital. Her father, the man who held a top role in a prestigious marketing firm, was let go within 48 hours of the video circulating internally. Before I released the video, my siblings begged me not to do it, claimed they were scared, that they had no choice. But when I asked them if they knew where she was, they stayed silent. I saw the footage. Their fear looked a lot like joy back then. So I shut them all out, blocked every number. I'm done listening to excuses. But this isn't just about revenge anymore. I hired a private investigator. A damn good one. He's looking for her. I gave him everything I had: photos, letters, school records, everything. I need to know that she's okay. I need her to know the truth. That I never stopped loving her. That I would have fought for her if I had known. That I choose her still. Of course, here's the updated Update 5 with your added ending included. Update 4, she's still gone and so am I. It's been months. Months since I found out the truth that the woman I loved was taken from me not by fate or circumstance, but by the people I trusted the most. The same people who smiled at us, welcomed her into our home and pretended to care. She vanished near the end of the school year. No warning, no goodbye. One moment we were planning summer together, talking about our future, and the next, she and her family were just gone. We had been dating for almost 2 years. Met in high school, the real kind of love. The quiet, loyal, steady kind. I was going to propose to her. I had even chosen the ring my grandmother's. She would have loved that. She always said she admired old, meaningful things. Things with a story. I was building our future. Meanwhile, they were destroying it behind my back. The private investigator has tried everything. Searched records, reached out to contacts, checked shelters and clinics. Nothing. It's like she never existed. While I've been trying to find her, Angie won't stop messaging me, calling, sending long walls of text about how sorry she is, how she didn't know it would go this far, how she wants to explain. I haven't replied. I don't need her words. I need answers. Lately, I've been drinking more than I should. My friends noticed. They cornered me one night and made me talk, and it poured out all of it. The anger, the guilt, the pain. I admitted I've been aggressive, out of control sometimes, because nothing feels real anymore. My life was flipped upside down by people who claimed to love me. My father gave me relationship advice. My mother who hugged her like a daughter. My siblings who treated her like family. It was all a lie. And the part that hurts the most, they knew how much I loved her. They knew. And still, they harassed her family, threatened them, drove them out. All while I was clueless, still thinking everything was okay. My mother came by a few days ago, shaking, crying, said she wanted to make things right. She begged for forgiveness. I asked her one thing. Why? Why destroy someone so kind, so good, so loyal? She told me it was because I once said I might switch schools to be closer to her, and apparently that was the red flag. They thought she was a bad influence. that I was losing focus. They decided it was just a phase and it was their job to snap me out of it. So they acted. I stared at her, barely holding it together, and said, "So what now? You happy with the results? You destroyed everything. I've lost her, the only person who truly cared about me, and for what? A phase? Should we have another family party? Call up the relatives and toast to how well it all turned out? What would Grandpa and Grandma say, knowing their grandson's life was torn apart because of your pride and control?" I told her how we met, how she believed in me, how she was the one good thing I had in a house full of masks, and how they all ripped her away like she was nothing. She cried and said she just wanted her son back. I looked her dead in the eyes and told her, "He's dead." Then I closed the door in her face. Now, my family walks on eggshells around me, not out of guilt but fear. Because of the video. They tried to take me to court over it, tried to spin the narrative again. I told them flatly, "Go ahead, let's bring it all to court. Let's show everyone exactly what you did, every threat, every lie, every laugh while she was crying." They dropped it, but I haven't, and I won't. Not until I find her. Not until I know she's safe. Update 5. I found her, but not like this. The private investigator finally called. I thought I was ready. I thought after everything, after months of pain, anger, and unraveling lies, that nothing could shock me anymore. I was wrong. He told me to clear my day. No explanations, just an address. A hospital. A couple hours away. I didn't say a word the whole drive. When we arrived, he led me straight to the ICU wing. The hallway smelled like antiseptic and faint lemon. I remember that, weirdly. My heart pounded so hard it made me nauseous. And there she was, behind the glass window, lying still on a hospital bed. Her hair was longer, tied loosely to the side. Pale skin, IV lines, machines softly humming around her. It was her. A doctor walked up and asked who I was. I said the words before I could even think. "I'm her fiancé." He looked at me almost with suspicion. I told him briefly who I was, how I'd only just found out what happened. He paused for a moment, then nodded. That look softened. Something in him understood. He took a breath. "There's a lot you need to know. There were some formalities, paperwork, Idaho questions, but I barely heard them. I just kept staring through the window." Then he told me the truth. She and her parents had been living quietly, trying to survive after being threatened and driven out. They were harassed, intimidated, and had no real support. A year after they were forced to move, she had a seizure. They rushed her to the hospital. Tests revealed a tumor in her brain. They removed it, but there were complications. She's been in a coma ever since. And then he said the words that broke me. Her mother passed away a couple years later, and her father a few years ago. Heart attack. He worked himself to death paying for her care. No one claimed her. No other relatives wanted to get involved. She was alone. The hospital had been planning to transfer her to a long-term state facility, one step above forgotten. Just another patient in a sea of quiet tragedy. I walked into the room, and when I got closer, I saw it. The necklace. Still around her neck, that small, cheap thing I gave her when we first started dating back in high school. It was all I could afford back then. She used to say it was her most treasured thing. I collapsed at her bedside. The tears came hard. I didn't try to stop them. I held her hand and told her I was so sorry. I should have fought harder. I should have found her sooner. She went through all of this without me. The doctor stood quietly nearby. When I finally gathered myself, I told him, "I'll take care of her. I don't care what it costs. I'll handle everything." She's not alone anymore. Not as long as I'm breathing. Update 6. I gave up everything, and I do it again. The past few weeks have been consumed by legal paperwork. There was so much to process: medical authority, guardianship, financial responsibility. I signed every document without hesitation. I liquidated what I could, sold my car, emptied my savings, even gave up the condo I once shared with Angie. And most importantly, I cashed out the trust fund my grandparents left me. Till they left it for me to build a life. And this is my life now, making sure she's safe, cared for, never alone again. That money was never meant to sit in an account collecting interest while the woman I love withered in silence. Before she passed, my grandmother had met her once back when we were still in high school. She called her cute and gentle. A week later, she left me her engagement ring for her. Almost like she knew, like she saw what I hadn't yet. It's the same ring I later used to propose to Angie, a mistake I won't pretend didn't happen. I took it back when I found out the truth, and now it finally belongs to the woman it was always meant for. But of course, my family couldn't let that go. They found out I used the trust fund, their precious legacy, and suddenly they were scrambling. They tried to block the transaction, sent emails, involved lawyers, claimed mental instability and emotional compromise. I saw red. I drove to their house, the same house I once thought of as home, and nearly tore the damn front door off the hinges. There they were, sitting around the dinner table like nothing ever happened, like they hadn't torn my life apart and still expected me to play the role of grateful son. I didn't even sit down. I just stared at them and said, "So what now? Going to steal from me too?" The contempt in my voice wasn't hidden. I wanted them to feel it. My mother tried to stand up, say something, but I wasn't interested in her tears this time. My cousin was there, the same idiot whose loose mouth exposed everything, still recovering from the last time we talked. I looked straight at him and said, "Get lost, or I finish what I started." He didn't argue. He ran. Coward. All bark, no spine. Before he vanished, I reminded him, if he played any part in what happened, if there's anything else I find out, things will get worse for him. A lot worse. Then it was just my parents and my silent, guilty siblings. I made it crystal clear. If they keep interfering, if they stall my efforts one more time, I will tear everything down. Their friends, their assets, their reputations, everything. That was when my father finally snapped. She's just a gold digger. She never deserved this family's wealth. I stared at him, calmly, with a fire that wouldn't go out. She never cared about wealth. Neither did I. But if that's how you measure worth, I'll give everything I have to her. Every cent, every connection, every inheritance. Because unlike you, she actually loved me. He was seething. So I leaned in and reminded him what happened to my cousin and their family name. How quickly it all unraveled. How fast their polished, respectable image was turned to ash. And then I said the one thing that shut them all up. I found her. She's alive, and I will never forgive you for what you did to her. To me. My siblings stayed quiet the whole time. They knew. They knew that if they said the wrong thing, anything at all, it would only add fuel to the fire. My mother. She broke down again, repeating the same thing over and over, sobbing. We shouldn't have done it. We shouldn't have done it. No, they shouldn't have. And now they're afraid. They should be. Update 7. I still talk to her every day. It's been months since I last saw my so-called family. After the chaos, the confrontations, the truth, the video, they finally stopped getting in my way. My father's been silent, completely. Not a word since I told them I found her. My siblings each sent long messages apologizing, trying to explain their silence, their laughter in that video. Fear, pressure, immaturity, whatever excuse they clung to. I left them on read. My mother, though, she still messages every day. Sometimes it's a wall of guilt. Other times it's just, please respond. But I can't. My cousin, heard he moved out of town. Apparently even his job couldn't protect him once the video went viral in the right circles. Good. He was always a parasite, the worst kind, the kind that smiles while poisoning you. Then came Angie. She showed up at my new place unannounced. I almost didn't let her in. But she looked like a ghost of herself, thinner, paler, like the guilt had been eating her alive. She didn't come to defend herself this time. She didn't cry for sympathy. She sat on the couch, hands shaking, and said it plainly. I was part of what happened. Her parents fed her lies for years. Told her I was meant for her. Told her that girl, my girl, was just in the way. She didn't know all the details, but she didn't ask questions either. She let it happen. Played her part. Then she said she heard from my parents that I found her, that she was alive. She asked where she was. I told her the truth. She's in a coma. She broke again, sobbed, said she was sorry, reached for my hands like she had the right to comfort, but I pulled away. She understood. Without another word, she got up and left. After that, I went to the hospital where she was recently transferred. A better facility, quieter, safer. I sat down with admin and updated her file, restricted the visitor list. My entire family? Banned Angie, banned her parents. Don't even let them near the parking lot. The staff understood and promised to alert me immediately if anyone shows up. Right now, I have enough money to cover a couple more years of care. I've been living on the bare minimum. Gave up everything else, including the job my family once arranged for me. I'll need to find something new soon, something on my terms. The other night, I watched this video that stopped me cold. A celebrity couple. Apparently, they didn't even realize they were dating until this one moment outside a jewelry store. She looked up at him and asked what she meant to him. He kissed her and said, "Someone who made me believe in something." I smiled for the first time in days. Because yeah, that's what she was to me. Still is. I visit her every day, tell her about my search, my pain, my stupid stories. Even that celebrity video. I talk to her like she's still here, because maybe, just maybe, some part of her is. And I still believe she hears me. Update 8. A new chapter begins. Met up with the private investigator to settle the payment. Tried handing over the full amount, but he only accepted half. Use the rest for her, he said without hesitation. Asked why. He didn't elaborate much, just said he saw someone who gave everything for the woman he loved and wanted to do the same in return. A few days later, he sent me an address and a name. Dean, the guard. Took the train. When I arrived, I froze for a second. It was the same building where my brother used to work, the one I got him kicked out of after releasing the video. Outside, there were people gathered near the entrance. I asked if it was a line. Nah, just fans. One of them smiled. They're a great couple. Didn't ask further. They looked happy. Walked inside and gave Dean's name. Security looked me up and down until a tall, broad-shouldered man came walking out. Dean. He smiled, said, "You're early," and invited me in. Tried explaining why I was there, but he waved it off. You don't need to explain anything. I know enough. He gave me a short tour. The building was impressive, sleek, organized, quiet. We reached a grand floor, far removed from the noise outside. He asked me to take a seat and disappeared into an office. The receptionist offered me coffee. Real coffee, not the cheap instant stuff I'd been living off. It hit hard. I hadn't tasted anything like it in months. About 10 minutes later, Dean returned. "He'll see you now." Walked into the office. That's when I realized who he was. The man from the video, the one who kissed her in front of the jewelry shop. He stood up, extended his hand, and introduced himself. Sharp suit, confident presence. But his eyes, they were watching everything. He didn't jump into questions. Instead, he talked, and I listened. Then I talked, and he listened. We ended up speaking about everything. My past, my skills. Even mentioned her, the coma, the necklace, all of it. It came out without me meaning to. Left out the full story about my family, but I didn't need to explain. He already knew. "I know what happened with your family," he said at one point. "I also understand why you did it. But if you're going to be part of this, you need to manage that anger." I agreed. No hesitation. He then mentioned my brother. I made sure he was escorted out. We don't keep people like him here. I also know he didn't feel guilty at the time. I didn't expect much else. Just nodded. Then he handed me a folder. I assumed it was something routine, maybe an NDA or a form to fill out for another interview. Opened it. An employment agreement. You start Monday. Dean will help you get settled. Didn't expect it. Thought this was just the beginning of a long process. But the offer was real. I thanked him genuinely. It was the first time in a long time someone believed in me without asking me to justify every scar. As I walked out, I saw her, the woman from the video, the one he kissed. She was stunning, even more so in person. She smiled and congratulated me. The receptionist did too. Didn't realize how heavy my chest had felt until it started to lift. Went straight to the hospital. Sat beside her bed, the necklace still around her neck. Told her everything. The job, the man from the video, the woman, the coffee. Told her I think things are finally starting to change. Update 9. New faces, familiar stories. It's been a couple of months since that first meeting with the CEO. Dean met me again at the front entrance and brought me up to one of the upper floors. I didn't know what to expect, maybe some entry-level internship position, basic admin work, a desk in the corner if I was lucky. Instead, I was introduced to Kim, young, kind, and polite. She smiled, handed me a stack of client briefs and campaign drafts, and showed me to a cubicle. No hand-holding, no long onboarding, just trust and responsibility. That's when I realized this wasn't just a random placement. This floor wasn't part of the CEO's company directly, it was an independent marketing firm. One of 2 businesses the CEO had brought into the building as part of a 3-way partnership deal. The second partner? A company whose lead strategist was none other than his fiancée, Kat. I'd seen her before, the woman from the video, and the way she carried herself said everything. Smart, elegant, sharp. Apparently, this wasn't just another corporate collaboration. It was high level, carefully curated, strategic, and now I was part of it. That same day, just a couple of hours in, another woman stopped by my desk, Samantha. She walked over, looked me up and down, and muttered just loud enough for me to hear, "Another charity case. He really needs to stop helping people." I wanted to say something, but I stayed quiet. She didn't seem like someone who minced words, and if she was bold enough to call out the CEO like that, I figured she held some weight. Later, I found out I was right. She's actually a close friend of the CEO, one of the few people who can say exactly what's on their mind and still be trusted completely. She checked my work briefly, raised an eyebrow, and then said with a sly smile, "Good. Looks like you're going to be useful." Since then, I've been grinding early mornings, late nights, going above and beyond. I've already been trusted with client strategy reviews, marketing reports, and a couple of pitches. Samantha hasn't said much more, but she keeps tossing work my way, and I take that as a vote of confidence. A month later, she walked in with a woman assigned to the sorting area. Clearly annoyed, she muttered, "Another charity. She's going to earn her keep." No introductions, just orders. Kim looked more serious that day, distant. I didn't pry. Every evening, I visit her, still in the hospital, still unresponsive. I tell her everything about my work, about Kim and Samantha, about Kat, and the kind of operation this is. Sometimes I mention the small things, how I'm finally able to eat good meals, how the pay is enough that I've started saving again, how the coffee here doesn't taste like regret. Sometimes our old classmates come by. Those are the hardest visits, full of guilt and memories and what-ifs. The doctors have been watching her closely, running tests, studying her case. They haven't given up, and neither have I. One day, I crossed paths with the CEO again. He asked how she was doing. I told him. He listened quietly, respectfully, said nothing more. Later that evening, I saw a fresh bouquet in her room. No card, no note. Didn't need one. Update 10, a new chance. Something happened during one of my usual visits. I walked into her hospital room expecting the same quiet beeping and stillness, but this time someone new was there. A man in his late 20s, sharply dressed in a white coat, flipping through her charts with a focused expression. He looked up and extended a hand. "Dr. Robert," he said, "neurosurgeon, originally from England. A friend of mine reached out about her case. I had her records sent over, flew in a few days ago." I blinked. "You flew in? Just for her?" He nodded. "Her case is unique, and important. He'd already ordered fresh CT scans, MRIs, and blood work. A full reevaluation. It took over a week before he called me back for the results. That wait nearly broke me. I visited every day, just staring at her, praying for anything but another dead end. Then came the day. We sat down in a small consultation room. He didn't sugarcoat it. The tumor she had removed, he began, was benign, but the doctor who performed the surgery missed something, a second, smaller tumor. That's what likely caused the seizure and the coma. My heart stopped. He continued, if we remove it, there's a chance she might wake up. I felt like the air had been knocked out of my chest. I didn't even realize I'd gripped the armrest until he paused to let it sink in. But then came the warning. It's a high-risk procedure. Complicated, no guarantees, but I believe it's possible. He gave me time to think. I didn't need it. I looked him dead in the eye and said, do it. He asked if I was sure. I was. Even if she never came back to me, even if she woke up and walked away, all I wanted was for her to live a full life, to have a second chance. That night, I sat beside her and told her everything. About Dr. Robert, about the tumor, about the operation. I held her hand and told her I'd fight for her, even if I wasn't in the ending. I wanted her to have that ending, a good one. The next morning, I met with Dr. Robert again and confirmed it. I told him I didn't care how much it cost, I'd find a way. Sell what's left, work night shifts, whatever it took. He just smiled and said, we'll talk about that part later. He stood and shook my hand. We'll prepare for the operation. Update 11. Unexpected support. I had a chance to talk to the CEO again. It was one of those brief moments between meetings, but I took the opportunity. I told him everything about Dr. Robert, the second tumor, and the upcoming operation. For the first time, I saw a real smile on his face. Not polite, not professional, genuine. I hesitated, then asked if I could work extra hours to help cover her medical bills. I was ready to do whatever it took, but he shook his head. Don't worry about it, he said. The company will help. I blinked. What do you mean? He didn't answer, just gave a nod and left off to another meeting, looking more serious than usual. I stood there a moment, processing what just happened. I didn't know what kind of help he meant, but I felt something lift off my shoulders. A couple weeks earlier, something else had happened that changed the atmosphere in the office. The woman Samantha brought in, the one she grumbled about being another charity case, had been in a hit and run. It happened on a rainy night, and from what I'd overheard, Kim saw the whole thing. The woman's now in a coma. And I found out she's Kim's sister. It explained a lot, Kim's silence that day, the shift in her energy, Samantha's tension. Everyone's been a little quieter since then. Even Samantha, for all her harshness, seemed affected. The operation's scheduled in a couple of weeks. The waiting's getting harder. But I'm holding on. Every visit, I tell her a little more about the people here, about Kim, the CEO, even Samantha. I keep talking to her like she's listening. Because I believe she is. Update 12. A chance at tomorrow. The operation finally happened. Dr. Robert came in early, bringing in specialized equipment I had never seen before. He looked calm, precise, the kind of person who made you feel like things were going to be okay. Before it all started, he pulled me aside and told me the truth. He hadn't come here by accident. He was personally contacted by the CEO, not just as a referral, but as a friend. He dropped everything and flew in because he asked. I was speechless. I wanted to thank him, but the CEO had been unreachable lately, out of the office. Busy, always somewhere else. Still, knowing that he did this, it meant everything. Then came bittersweet news. Kim's sister, the young woman Samantha brought in a few months ago, had been the victim of that hit and run. She had fallen into a coma, but days ago she woke up. Her family came. Kim was there, and even one of our co-workers who secretly had feelings for her visited. But the joy didn't last. Kim's sister passed away just days after waking up complications, the doctor said. Her body couldn't keep up, even though she fought to come back. Kim didn't show up to work after that. No one blamed her. That loss echoed through the hospital. And I couldn't help but worry, what if I lose her too? Samantha came to me before the operation. She didn't say much, just handed me a coffee and told me I was taking time off. Don't argue, just take it, she said. The surgery itself ran longer than expected. I waited for hours, restless and silent, until Dr. Robert returned with the news. They got at the smaller tumor, the one everyone else had missed. It was gone now. There were already signs of improvement in her brain activity. Nothing dramatic, but enough to give hope. She's not awake yet, but she's still fighting. And now, for the first time in years, I truly believe she might come back. Update 13. She came back. She woke up. I was asleep beside her, my head resting near her hand, when I felt movement. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard her voice, soft, gentle, and filled with warmth I hadn't heard in years. She asked, "How's the couple doing?" It took me a second to register what she meant, the video I once told her about. That moment in front of the jewelry shop. She remembered. She heard me. I looked at her. Really looked and broke down crying. I clung to her hand, apologizing, begging for forgiveness. But she stopped me, her voice barely above a whisper. "You don't need to beg for my forgiveness," she said. "You gave me a reason to live." Dr. Robert arrived not long after, stunned but beaming. He ran checks and confirmed what we hoped. No complications. Her recovery would take time, but she was here, awake, herself. And then she told us the truth. She had been awake for years, trapped inside her own body, unable to move, unable to speak. She was conscious when her father passed away. She heard nurses, doctors, conversations filled with pity, hopelessness. She thought she had died and gone to hell, until she heard my voice. She said it over and over. "Your voice gave me hope. Your stories, your visits, your love pulled me back." Dr. Robert ordered more tests and started her on a long-term neurological recovery plan, but also called for a psychological evaluation. Years in that state had left scars no one could see, but she was fighting just as she always had. Weeks later, I brought her to my workplace. The office was buzzing that day. Dean was the first to spot us. He grinned, patted my shoulder, and welcomed her with a warm, "Glad you're really here." Samantha came out of nowhere and gave her a sudden, tight hug. "He never shuts up about you," she said with a smirk. Andrew, the CEO, was there too, along with his fiancée, Kat. He looked at her, nodded with a quiet smile, and simply said, "Welcome back." We all gathered in the staff lounge for a small celebration. Nothing grand, just good people, snacks, music, and a quiet joy that filled every corner of that room. She smiled, laughed, and for the first time in years, she felt like she belonged in the world again. And I finally got to thank the man who helped make it all happen. Final update, a life reclaimed. It's been a couple of years since she came back. So much has happened quietly, beautifully, painfully, but always with purpose. News of her waking up eventually reached my former family. Someone posted a photo of us smiling at an outdoor cafe, her hair longer, her face full again, the light returning to her eyes. It didn't take long before the messages came flooding in. Apologies, regrets, pleas to meet her. But I made sure they never reached her. My lawyer sent legal notices, restraining measures, whatever it took. I didn't care what they thought, where they were, or how they tried to explain themselves. They lost the right to be part of our lives, and they stayed away after that. Her recovery was nothing short of remarkable. Her body grew stronger with each passing month. Her laughter, soft at first, almost unfamiliar, grew fuller. Her voice, once shaky, began to carry warmth and strength. Her beauty had always been undeniable to me, even when she slept in stillness. But now the world could see what I always did. With every step she regained, we planned a future together. Then, with the help of the friends who never left my side, Dean, Kim, Samantha, Andrew, and Kat, We organized something simple and quiet, a secluded garden on the edge of the city. Nothing flashy, just close friends, gentle music, and the people who mattered most. I knelt in front of her that day, the same ring my grandmother once left behind. The one she said belonged to someone special fit her finger perfectly. Tears filled her eyes. Then, with trembling hands, she stood up from her wheelchair, on her own. "Yes," she whispered, and the entire garden broke into quiet applause. We were married shortly after. It was a small ceremony just like we wanted. No cameras, no strangers, just us. And now, as I sit beside her again, I rest my hand on her belly and feel the soft flutter of life. Our child. I promised to protect her for the rest of my life, and now I will protect both of them, the woman who gave me reason to believe again, in the life we created together.